All right, traders, we have very good news. The stock market is opening tomorrow. The weekend is officially almost over. With that being said, it is time to prepare to trade the best setups at the best prices. I am going to show you exactly how to identify the key make or break levels where the bull and bear traps are going to get created, so you know exactly when to buy calls for the reversal and when to buy puts to short for the reversal. I'm going to show you how to master and trade the SPY both ways heading into this weekend. We have a very solid foundational trading plan. Let's get straight into the analysis. So in terms of the SPY, as you could see during extended hours trading session, and what you're looking at here, this is a 30-minute chart. Right now it's gapping up, so it's attempting to open up higher than it previously closed, topping out at 398 at the moment. In terms of our key levels, our first level is going to be $398. What do you need to understand about this $398 level? We're going to call this 398 level previous support that has been reacting as a resistance level. As you can see right here, 398 reacted as a support, reacted as a support, reacted as a support, and it shot up to almost $403. Once it cracked and reacted as a resistance level, it sold off hard. It retested, turned previous support into resistance, it sold off hard, and it bottomed around 392 when it was doing that. That's another key level that I want you to watch in terms of support, 392, right? So what we know about 398 is we know this is a level that has been reacting as a previous support level, but then it turned into resistance after cracking with big sell-offs, right? So what I need you to understand is they're going to try to turn this into resistance. The initial reaction overall, likely in the market open, is that we see some sort of pullback. Look for some sort of bearish confirmations. If it does end up having a nice gap up, look for some sort of bearish confirmation to potentially be shorting towards the market open. And your key zone for that is going to be 398 to 399 with a max pain above 399.50. That would be the most you want to risk, above 399.60, right? So that's the first idea, to potentially short the SPY, buy put options if it has a decent gap up tomorrow, and we're going to be targeting 398 to 399 for that. In and out very, very quickly to scalp, right? Now, in terms of the very solid trading plan, what you would do in that sense is you're basically shorting, buying puts, playing for the gap to fill below. And the next best trade idea is going to be call options. So our second trade idea is going to be call options at 395.75. What I need you to understand about this 395.75 level is this is going to be a previous resistance level. You could see right here, you have a lot of support towards 395.50, 396 with nice downside potential. Well, right here, the SPY had a break above that, turns it into support, huge run up for new highs. You see that, right? So what I want you to focus on in terms of call options and buying the dip is if you see a floor, if you see support that is forming at 395.75, we're going to have this gap to fill below at 395.75. You're going to want to look to buy call options, go to 390 strike, that's barely out of the money, like 25 cents out of the money, and you're going to want to sell in the money, sell into the rips, right? That'd be the game plan for calls. Look for a gap close reversal at 395.75. As you can see, it's very solid and strong support. If you look into the market close and you look towards extended hours, you have a lot of strong bullish wicks towards this 395.70 level, right? So that's where we're going to be looking to eye calls. Now, what I want you to understand about 395.75 is the SPY had a gap up. It's breaking out above this 396 resistance, which is bullish. Therefore, it's going to try to turn it into support initially to react bullish for the first time. Doesn't mean it's going to actually be bullish, but the initial reaction should be a rip, a spike off of 395.75 where you scalp calls in and out, which was our second trade idea, right? Now, if you see the SPY go below this level, this is the level that you need to be bringing awareness, that we need to be bringing awareness to, is this level right here, this 395.25. If we go under 395.25 and a ceiling resistance is forming at 395.75, you will start to see a sell-off to 393 to 392 range. 392 is a key dark pull level to be keeping an eye on in terms of support, but just understand if it cracks below 395.75 and they turn it into a lower high in resistance and it goes under 395.25, we will flip back to micro bearish and they will start to send this back down to this $392 level, right? So those are our key levels. That's the main trading plans. What I want you to focus on heading into tomorrow is going to be in terms of put options in shorting. I want you to focus on pre-market highs, pre-market resistance, wherever that's going to be, ideally towards $398. I do believe they're going to drop this and start to sell this off right around that range. And then in terms of calls, if you see the floor is forming, it's looking bullish at $395.75. Look to scalp calls. Now, in terms of max pains for your puts is $399.60. Do not risk more than this $399.60-ish level, right? In terms of your max pain for calls, do not risk more than under $395. And as of now, the prices that we're going to be looking at in terms of puts, what I can mainly say is $398, but pre-market highs, wherever you see it's dropping off in the pre-market and then towards market open, as long as it's above gapping up, look for some sort of pre-market high resistance confirmation. The calls, we're looking at $395.75. That's make or break. If it goes under $395, then it flips micro bearish, no reason for calls, right? So that's what we know. That's what we're planning to do. The reason why we're interested in buying calls at $395.75 is it's gapping up, it's breaking out, meaning the initial reaction is it's going to try to turn that previous resistance at 396 into a support level. It's already got a strong foundational bottom wick floor in extended hours and into the market close at this level. Under 395, we avoid calls. If we're in calls, we get stopped out, and then you would just want to kind of sit on the sidelines. And then in terms of why we're targeting puts at 398, it's gapping up, and it's very high probabilities that if SPY does gap up, it's going to come back down to fill the gap below. I think that's very high probabilities. It's overbought for the short term, and wherever that pre-market resistance is going to be, we know a key level is this previous support at 398, right? This previous floor, excuse me, this previous floor right here at 398 should attempt to react as a resistance. If it goes above that in the pre-market, then we're just going to look where the resistance is in pre-market and look to short towards that level wherever it is. Those are the two main trade ideas that I have for you. Now, in terms of other levels that are not the best setups at the best prices, so those are the best setups at the best prices that I'm seeing right now, and you know what to do and how to utilize them. In terms of what I'm seeing on the daily chart, this can truly go either way. It does look kind of bullish on the daily chart, and it is gapping up, but this can genuinely go either way. But I think it's going to be a really good idea to be scalping calls at that 395.75 level with a max pain at 395.20 to under 395 max pain on those, right? But in terms of other levels that you should focus on, not the best steps to best prices though, just keep an eye on $392. That's a key level. And then also just strong eyes and strong focus on $390. $390 for calls is going to be an amazing entry if you ever see it drop back there. So we're keeping an eye on 392. We're keeping an eye on 390. In terms of true confidence plays, calls at 390 seems like a no-brainer. Calls at 395.75, I'm interested in that. And then in terms of puts, wherever the pre-market resistance is going to be, if this does have a nice gap up, this can change within a heartbeat heading into pre-market, so we have to see. If the SPY does gap down tomorrow, right now it's gapping up, but if it does end up gapping down somehow, they're going to try to recover this and push to fill the gap above. So if this does gap down tomorrow, I'll be looking at pre-market support, and I'll be looking at 393 to 392 to buy a dip if it does gap down tomorrow. That's my overall thoughts. That's my overall price action analysis. I'm telling you in terms of initial moves, if it gaps up tomorrow, initial move, first time at test, should be a bounce at 395.75. I'm not saying it's going to go super bullish, but it should have a bounce there, a nice scalp for calls. Another key level where the first time, so if SPY drops to I'm telling you, man, this 392 level, if you see a drop to 392, this key support dark pool level, initial reaction is likely going to be bullish. So keep an eye on targeting that level for calls. If it cracks and goes under that, you get stopped out at 391, then target calls at 390. Those are the overall game plans. We're looking at calls for 392. We're looking at calls for 395.75. We're looking at calls for 390. And then we're looking at puts wherever the pre-market resistance rejections are going to be. That is how you trade the best setups at the best prices. This is how we're breaking down the charts. Remember, if we do gap down tomorrow, it opens up lower than 395.75. We will be looking to target call options towards 392, that 392 level. If we gap down tomorrow, it's likely going to rip back up to fill the gap. And if we do gap down tomorrow, and it has a nice gap down. 395.75 will be make or break. Initially, it will try to react as a resistance and pull back, but it's very likely if SPY gaps down that it flips bullish. So if you see a support forming at 396 and it gaps down, it's going to go super bullish later on. But initial reaction is going to try to reject, but overall it'll try to be bullish in my opinion if it gaps down. Those are my overall thoughts. That's my overall analysis. That's what we're going to be focusing on in terms of calls and puts tomorrow. This is how you trade the best setups at the best prices, right? In terms of the daily chart, it's not giving me too much. It's saying it can either go bullish or bearish. If it does gap down, though, I can see a strong recovery play for calls. So I will be targeting dips, right? You can see the same kind of candlestick right here. And on this day, it did end up gapping down. You can see it opened up lower than it previously closed, and then it recovered nicely, right? So that's what you need to know. That's what you need to understand heading into tomorrow. I mean, there's just several examples when it forms this green bullish candlestick that it does tend to go higher. So just two examples that I'm going to break down. You can see it's the same exact candlestick, right? This candlestick right here. If the SPY gaps down, right? So if this gaps down, then it's likely going to recover. And if you see it push above the gap, then it's going to go super bullish after that as well. If the SPY gaps up, see the same candlestick right here. So we're comparing this candlestick. We're comparing this candlestick to what happens the next day, to what happens the next day. Same candlestick to what happens the next day, right? This is why we're analyzing the gap ups, the gap downs. History tends to repeat itself. We're looking at the daily candlesticks confirmations. This is how you learn candlesticks, not by reading books, by just looking at the chart and seeing, okay, how does this candlestick normally react when it looks like this at support, when it looks like this at resistance level, when it's at this at the same specific level, right? So another example is if it gaps up, it's likely just going to spike off the previous closing price. On this day, it gapped up, it spiked off the previous closing price. On this day, it gapped down and it started to bottom out and it ripped strongly above the previous closing price. So just pay attention for that for the bulls tomorrow. Pay attention to that. And just know 398 is that make or break level, right? And it's already forming resistance. I'm telling you, they will try to drop this and sell this off initially first from 398. I strongly believe that. If you guys watched my video from last week, I told you guys the best level for puts is when we retest 397, 398. This is the first time we retest, and I would be even more confident in those puts initially because it's gapping up and it's overbought, so it's going to try to come back down to fill the gap, right? So that's what you need to know. That's what you need to understand. I explained to you how to determine if it's bullish or bearish and the bull and bear traps. Trade the price action, trade the chart, trade the candlesticks. Let's bank tomorrow. We're going to have a very phenomenal day within Trader Society. If you want to be a part of Trader Society, it is going to be that first link down below in the description. It is a one-time fee. You get lifetime access to the live trading streams, to the live trading voice, to the moderators, to the mentors within Trader Society, to the trading analysts, to the community, to the networking opportunities, to the video lesson library, to the courses. It is all within Trader Society, the Discord. If you want to join, it's the first link down below in the description. You could start trading with us first thing tomorrow morning. I will see you guys in the chat from there. We will be raising the price of Trader Society end of March. So starting April 1st, the price will be going up. If you want to be grandfathered in at the best price possible, this is the best time to join. I will see you guys within the chat room from here. I'm looking forward to it.